Hello, this is Ms. DB. I wanted to do a few more problems from the Simplifying Roots, Square Roots assignment. And there is another video where we go over how to do several of these beginning problems. And I want to look particularly at the ones where you have square roots that are being added or subtracted to other square roots. So I want to start with number 12. So in number 12, we have the square root of 16 plus 2 square root of 8. Now we have two different square roots being added. You cannot combine these unless you have the exact square root, same square root underneath the radical. So if we had the square root of 16 plus the square root of 16, you could add them. But we do not have that, so what we do first is we simplify the roots, and then we check and see if we can combine them any farther. So the square root of 16 is a perfect square, so we just go ahead and find the square root of 16. It's just 4. Now over on the other term, we are going to simplify the square root of 8. Because the factors of 8 are 4 times 2, I can rewrite the square root of 8 as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. So I rewrite my 4, my plus, my 2, and now I need to simplify the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is just 2. However, you need to put a times sign in between the 2 you already had and then now the 2 that you found by taking the square root of 4. These will be multiplied. Now the square root of 2 cannot be simplified anymore, so you just rewrite it after the other part. Now I keep simplifying and do my multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4, and I rewrite my square root of 2 after it. So my first term is 4, my second term is 4 square root of 2. These are not the same square root. The first term doesn't have a square root. I cannot combine any more than what I already did. That is my answer. I leave it like that. Let's look at, I believe I did number 13 in the other video, so let's look at number 14. In 14, we have minus 8, or negative 8, square root of 3, minus the square root of 12. Again, we cannot combine these because they do not have the same root. Underneath the radical is not the same. Negative 8 square root of 3 cannot be simplified anymore. But 12, we can try to simplify this. The factors of 12 are 2 times 6, or 4 times 3. If I use 4 times 3, that would help because the square root of 4 is a perfect square. So I'm going to rewrite the square root of 12 as the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. So again, I can't simplify negative 8 square root of 3, so I just rewrite it. I have a minus sign there. The square root of 4 is 2, so we change the square root of 4 to 2. I cannot simplify the square root of 3, so I just write it down. Now this problem does have the same square root in both terms. We have the square root of 3 and the square root of 3. That means that you can combine these, and the way that we can combine them is we look at the numbers in front. We have negative 8 minus 2. Negative 8 minus 2. We're going to figure out what that is, and then we will just write the square root of 3 after it. Negative 8 minus 2, we could rewrite as adding the opposite. And we see that that would be negative 10. The square root of 3 then gets written after the number in front, and that's your answer, negative 10 square root of 3. You do not change what's underneath the radical to 6 or 0 or 9 or anything else. It's just negative 10 square root of 3. And I just want to start number 15. I won't finish this one. I'll let you finish it. But in number 15, again, we cannot combine these because we have two different square roots. We have the square root of 72 and the square root of 50. So we can't like subtract them and get square root of 22 or something like that. What we need to do is simplify each root and then check and see if they can be combined further. So the square root of 72, you might not know for sure what are the factors, like 8 times 9 is a factor, or 2 factors, but 2 other factors is 36 times 2, and I'm going to use those. So I'm going to rewrite this as the square root of 72 as the square root of 36 times the square root of 2. because 36 is a perfect square, and it's the biggest perfect square that would be a factor of 72. And I'm going to rewrite the square root of 50 as the square root of 25 times 2, because 25 times 2 is 50. Then you are going to simplify those perfect squares. The square root of 36 can be simplified to a whole number, to an integer answer, and the square root of 25 can also be written as a whole number because those are perfect squares. Once you do that, you will have that number, whatever you get, times the square root of 2 minus whatever you get for the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. So again, like in 14, you're going to end up with like radicals. You have the square root of 2 on both terms. That means you will be able to combine, and you will do that by looking at the numbers that are in front, and in this case it's a subtraction problem, so you will take the number in front of the first term minus the other one, and you will get something, and your answer will be that number times the square root of 2. So I'll let you finish that one up. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a wonderful day.